Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to another stream slash video whenever you're watching. So today we've got obviously another banner, another new unit, that type of stuff. I personally was looking forward to this unit because if you don't know, he showed up in the recent story, so make sure you do that if you haven't done that. And he's like the Demon Lord. He looks pretty cool in the story, so I had pretty high expectations for this unit considering he's supposed to be a Demon Lord. And we're going to have a look at him today and his arc and everything. I think it's going to be quite interesting because he looks like he does have a lot in his kit, and he does look like quite an interesting unit, and I know there's going to be a lot of people comparing him to someone like Ascended Roland because they're both dark single-wield damage dealers, so they are pretty similar. But we'll go over that stuff in a bit. Let's just quickly go over the news first, just to make sure everything in this update. I don't think there's too much going on today. It's just the new units. That's the main focus of the stream today. And I don't think there's really that many events or things going on. Yeah, I honestly wasn't completely sure what the third unit was going to be, but it does make a lot of sense that it is Balezar, and I do like him, so I would like to try and get him if possible because he does look like a very cool unit. But yeah, it's quite cool, and if you've seen the new story, you definitely would know this is quite an exciting unit for some people. So I think it's going to be a pretty decent unit. Kind of like when you get those really strong units that appear in the story, like lore-wise, like Logzayas and those types of units, like that's on another level. But on he is another one of those story units that just looks incredibly strong in the story, like in the cutscenes and stuff. He just looks like a very strong unit because he can combat the gods and stuff. So I think it's quite interesting. Let's have a look at what's in the update today, and then we'll start having a look at the new unit and the new arc because they both seem pretty good in my opinion. But I also need to mention that there are some things coming up very soon, so just make sure that you're aware of what is coming up. Like in 2 weeks from now, I believe it should be the Shift Lilahar, and then after that, we don't know, but it's probably going to be a collab after that. So there is definitely a lot coming up, which you should try to save something for, I think. But Balezar is quite an exciting unit, and we've got Guard Yuda Nis, which appeared in the story as well. Looked pretty cool. We'll have a look at those soon. And this event, they keep teasing us. It can't just be me that thinks they need to release Advocate of God, Eva, or whatever you call her name. She looks pretty cool, and I don't know why they haven't released her as a unit yet, because she looks great. She's another Advocate of God unit, and she's not currently a unit yet. Getting him at 9,000 is pretty great. I wish that would happen to me. I hope so, but it's probably not. But yeah, this event definitely seems a lot better than the previous one. The last one that we had, kind of underwhelming because it was very slow. Couldn't get many tickets, couldn't get many materials or anything from the last event. The one before that was the first anniversary event. That was the main one. That was very good. But the one after that wasn't that great. But this one seems like it's a better event because it does have a world map and you can get a lot more rewards in here. So I do like this event. I've only done it a little bit so far, but I'm definitely going to be farming that at some point. Obviously, we've got the normal events, unit test, play quests, which we'll do later on. Beast Mayhem always comes back, and then we've got banners themselves. Obviously, I don't think there's anything special here. It's just the normal Descent of Heroes Festival banner and the guaranteed UR banner, which I'd never recommend doing because 10,000 papers is way too much. Yeah, I recommend to wait for the moment because this banner does go on for like 3 weeks or so, maybe 4 weeks. So you do have a long time. It ends on the 4th of June, so you've got a long time to wait for upcoming units and stuff before you decide if you want to pawn this. So definitely wait for now, maybe, unless you really like this unit, which go ahead, I can't stop you, right? But definitely look more into the unit before you decide on pulling us. Very important. Obviously, shop updates, don't really care too much, and other updates. So they've changed these skills that boost break values. They've now improved these skills, the skills description to show the actual values of the amount of break that they give. So I think that's a nice change, and honestly that should have been added like ages ago, but at least they're doing it now. I suppose it's better than not doing it at all, so it's fine. And they've, for some reason, they've improved weapon Gigaboost skills, such as Sword Gigaboost, to now have a plus 5,000 damage cap increase instead of 3,000. So you may notice on some of your units that they are hitting a little bit harder. That's going to be because of this change, and this will apply to all existing units that have this skill already in their kit. So I don't exactly know every single unit that has a Giga Boost in their kit, but I know that some of them are going to have this, so that's pretty nice. And then they've adjusted the description of one of those skills. So yeah, it's pretty much everything. There is a new Brave Star staff. I kind of want to have a look at that. So in the Adventure Medal trading space, I'm going to have a look at that because I haven't seen that yet. And then we'll have a look at the new unit and stuff, because that's going to be fun. I think this unit is definitely going to has a lot going for him. And the arc's pretty damn strong too. So this new staff, all absolute magic damage 20% when hitting a weakness with magic, damage cap plus 2,000. Yeah, it's pretty solid for a staff, so yeah, that's pretty good. Obviously nothing amazing, but the damage cap is definitely what makes it pretty good on someone like Lilahar, but that's only if you don't have her paid staff, of course. But yeah, it's there, I suppose. Right, let's go over to the banners now. We have a decent amount of banners on right now. Still got these 3 pulls going on. Obviously the Bayonetta stuff's still going on, if you've seen that video. This has got another 2 weeks left. I did manage to get Jian's arc, which is very nice, because I still think this part 2 banner is a very good banner. Because it's limited, I still think it's a pretty good banner. And out of all the banners, it's probably the best banner because it's a limited collab banner. If you like Jian, the arc's pretty good as well. Let's have a look at this banner now. So Demon Lord Balezar is the main unit in this banner, and he looks pretty great. I do like his artwork, looks amazing, and he is a creature type, so we don't get many creature type units in this game. There's hardly any, and in Last Cloudia they do classify demon type, demon type units, they consider them as creatures, so yeah, that's just how it is. He has pretty good stats, and his element resistances look pretty good as well. He's got resistance to everything, so that's quite funny to see that. And his absolute resistances look pretty good. I think this guy is just going to be a very solid unit overall. That's what it seems like so far. And I haven't even gone to his kit yet, but his stats look very good, and all of his resistances look very good as well. He doesn't have any weakness to anything, so I like that, that's great, and it does get even better. I believe he has a lot of stat increases in his kit, so he will have quite high stats. 2,000 strength, 1,700 intelligence, it's pretty good, and he will scale off of strength and intelligence, so things like Thaumaturgy Ring should be pretty effective on him if you want to boost his physical damage, and he can do magic damage as well. He's kind of like he is a hybrid physical damage dealer slash mage, so pretty interesting. We don't get those types of units that often. And if you remember, when the first form of Roland came out, he was a hybrid damage dealer as well, and we have had some units like that in the past, but usually one of their playstyles is usually more focused on than the other playstyle. So probably for this guy, he's probably going to be better as a physical damage dealer than a mage, but he has the potential to do both. So let's have a look at his skills now. I think they look nice. I like his skill 3 the most. That is my favourite skill here. It looks very nice. Skill 1, Death Talon, is a frontal long range dark combo attack, so this is a long range skill. I do like long range skills. This one is 8 hits. It looks pretty good. Not really much to say about it, but it looks like a pretty decent skill for a skill 1, and it's long range, so I do like that. And you could potentially use his skill 1 as like priority in arena and make him a long range damage dealer if you really want to, but I don't know if it's going to do enough damage. We're going to have to wait for testing on that, but would be interesting at least. And then his skill 2 is a close the gap for a medium area dark combo attack. This one is 14 hits, and you know the funny thing is his skill 2, Deathbringer, is, if that sounds familiar, that's because there's pretty much the exact same name as Advocate of, well, Arch being Melee's skill 2, it's the same name, so I thought that was pretty interesting and quite funny that it's exactly the same name for a skill. So this one looks okay. I haven't really looked at this too much, but we'll have a look at all of his animations and stuff later on in the showcase. Skill 3 is definitely my favourite one. It is a wide area dark combo attack. It doesn't really say anything here other than that, but this one is 21 hits and it looks pretty cool and it looks decently fast. All of his skills look okay on average, like they're fast but not super fast, like Shoal tier level, not going to happen. I don't think his DPS in general is going to be that crazy, and I still think that Ascended Roland's probably going to have higher DPS than Demon Lord Balezar, because Ascended Roland has his 100% crit rate, and you can mix that with obviously Icy Guardian, and that is a very good combo. So I still think Ascended Roland's going to do better in the DPS department, but Demon Lord Balezar definitely has some decent skills, but they don't look anything crazy. And his special is a powerful dark combo attack to one enemy. I wish it was to all enemies, because I'm always a fan of those specials that hit all enemies. They're more useful to me, but single target specials I never really use. I don't really like them that much unless they're super strong. This one is 52 hits, so kind of average, I suppose, on hit counts. I don't really see myself using it, so I'm not really going to worry too much about a special. Now, let's have a look at his traits, because these always get a hell of a lot more interesting, and he does have a lot here, and that's where it starts getting quite good. So, trait 1, when equipped with only one weapon, so he is going to be a single wield dark damage dealer. Dark damage plus 40% and damage cap plus 50,000, so this is all dark damage and all dark damage cap, so that would apply to his magic and his physical damage and just anything that's dark, so that's pretty good. Even arc skills as well that applies dark, they're going to benefit from this, so that's pretty nice. When equipped with only one weapon, okay, when it uses 10% of your max MP to give extra attacks to his skill 3. So this sounds pretty good, because I did say his skill 3 was, I already deleted it, it was like 21. But yeah, that's going to add 16 more hits to his skill 3, which is pretty great. Obviously it's not going to be doubling it or anything crazy like Shoal tier level, but adding 16 more hits to his skill 3, I think that's going to be pretty great. Obviously it's not permanent, because once you run out of MP, you're not going to get those extra hits anymore, so, and you can only do it like 10 times, because it uses 10% of your max MP, so obviously you can only do it 10 times. So things like Sharp Eyes won't be very good, because you need that MP for this, and it kind of sucks that he has to use MP to use the skill, to get the skill buff, because he also has the magic spell, so, you know, I think it's good though, because 16 hits is a hell of a lot. And it's all the time, so if you've got something like, if you've got Goddess Kiss and a dark weapon, that's going to be pretty good, because then it'll allow you to use this even more. During allies activate a dark non-stacking magic, so very specific, it increases his damage, skill damage cap by 20,000. But if this unit activates the, you know, dark non-stacking magic, then his damage cap, dark damage cap, gets increased by 50,000 instead. So basically, if an ally in your team uses non-stacking dark magic, then Balezar will get 20,000 damage cap. But if Balezar casts a non-stacking magic dark spell, then he will get 50,000 instead, which will of course apply to all of his dark damage. Well, that would apply to his skill damage, it says right there, so only his skills. Still pretty good though. Basically, it wants you to use one of his spells and then start spamming skills and kind of alternate that. So you would use one of his dark magic spells and then start spamming your skills, then once it's over, cast another spell. That's probably what they want you to do with this unit, which I think is something we don't get very often. So that's pretty nice. Now trait 2 is quite interesting. I think this trait 2 is quite interesting. It's quite nice. Damage taken minus 40%. So all the time you take 40% less damage from everything. It's pretty good. Obviously going to be useful everywhere. Battle start and when revived, it Majestate this unit, whatever that means, is probably just kind of a buff or something. Basically, you don't really need to worry about when you get this buff, because this is always going to be at about start and when revived. It's probably not even a buff, I don't know, I haven't tried it, but when this unit is Majestated, give SCT recovery speed plus 100% after 15 seconds, and unleash true strength. So what this true strength does, it greatly boosts your power. Don't exactly know what that means. It probably just gives him buffs. So when he has his true strength, it increases his HP, strength, defense, and intelligence by 80%. Pretty crazy. 2 to 3 times. Really? Let me see. I don't think I heard anything. Yeah, it might just be on your end. I don't hear anything on my end, so it's fine for me. So, boost movement speed, all attribute resistances plus 30, won't flinch from physical / magic attacks. So, basically what this trait does is, at the start of the battle, or when this unit is revived, it Majestates this unit, which gives him 100% SCT recovery speed, right? And then after 15 seconds, so 15 seconds after you receive that, then he will unleash his true strength, which is what they call it, and what that will do after 15 seconds is give him 80% of all of these stats, and boost his movement speed, and boost his attribute resistances by 30, and will allow him to not flinch from physical and magic attacks. So that is pretty crazy if you think about it. Not flinching is always very useful for all units, because, you know, getting flinched when using a skill was always the worst thing. It feels terrible. So I do like this, and 80% of HP, strength, defense, intelligence, and the fact that he can scale off of strength and intelligence, I think he should be hitting pretty hard. Now, I know these are only stat increases, and stats don't increase your damage by that much, but when stats do matter is when you're up against the very high stat bosses, and we have those types of bosses in the game now, like in the crest stages, those stages, and some other bosses, they have incredibly high stats, and this will help him reach his damage cap a lot easier, because he will have a lot more strength and intelligence, and his physical damage will scale off both. So I did go in the unit test play quest, and his stats looked pretty crazy, and the fact that both his strength and intelligence will scale his physical damage, I think he should have no problems with his actual stats, and all of his skills can just be focused on increasing his physical damage, and he should be able to hit his damage cap pretty reliably in most content against most bosses. As long as they don't have insane dark resistance, then I would assume he'll be fine, because these stat increases by themselves, and in fact you can scale off both stats, pretty crazy. And I've seen his stats in battle, and they're pretty high. It's like 14,000 strength and 10,000 intelligence, pretty crazy. So yeah, waiting 15 seconds is long in some content, depending on where you're using him in. If you're using him in arena, for instance, then yes, 15 seconds is a long time, and even in guild battles, or if you're using him on your fort. But if you're using him on your attack team in guild battles, that's when it's a bit different, because, you know, if you go up against a skeleton or something, he should be able to get this reliably. So I think that's pretty nice. And of course, if you're in boss battles, you won't have this until after 15 seconds. But the positive thing, right, is that this doesn't increase his damage, or it doesn't increase his damage cap by a lot. So if you can still hit hard enough before these 15 seconds, then it should be fine. And then once after 15 seconds, he should be hitting quite reliably, I think. But I'm just guessing. Based off of some of the bosses, they get those stat buffs when they are on low HP, so that is later on in the battles anyways. That's just kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. But yeah, I personally haven't tried him yet. I don't know if he's going to be anything crazy in regards to like crest stages bosses, if he's worth using there. I kind of struggle to fit him in a team because my entire team is focused around debuffing and ailments, and my one main damage dealer being Ascended Roland, and I can't really fit him in that team, so I still think it's going to be useful, and I do like this trait, even though you got to wait 15 seconds, but after those 15 seconds, this should be permanent until he dies, I think. But I still think it's interesting. I don't really have any negative things to say about this. I know waiting 15 seconds is going to be annoying sometimes. It doesn't say anything about if it resets each wave, so I would assume if you take 15 seconds in the first wave, then he should have his true strength in the second wave. I would assume so. Or if you use 10 seconds... Yeah, battle starts... I suppose that means at the start of each wave then, I don't know. I haven't tried it, but... I mean, I think it's fine. Because it doesn't give him like insane damage caps locked behind this, I think it's fine. Yeah, you could change Roland out for him instead, but Roland's DPS is just so good that I don't really want to, because I don't think Balezar is going to be better in DPS, you know, so... Like, yes, he can do magic as well, but really depends on the team you're building, I suppose. And you've got to use the time to cast a spell as well. But yeah, I do like this trait too. I think I've talked about this long enough. Let's go with the skills next. He has some interesting skills. And a lot of these skills are new skills, or just upgraded versions of skills. So it's quite funny. And you can see, if you're looking right here, you can see how many stat ups he's got. He's got a lot of stats, and he's even got a new one called All Stat Up. And I really hope we don't get that on an arc or something stupid. That'd be dumb, wouldn't it? So he has a new charisma, and I think this one is going to be very good to pair with Ascended Roland for sure. So we're getting in that new era of power creep, I guess. I don't like using that word, but yes, it's a thing. All allies dark damage plus 35% and damage cap plus 12,000, so yes, we're getting to that point now where we're getting these charismas which are even stronger than other units, and I suppose it's a good thing because it's on newer units, and the charismas on older units you don't really use anymore because they're outdated, so this charisma is pretty great, honestly, and it's all dark damage and damage cap, so magic, physical, anything dark, pretty good. You can pair this with dual wield units like Velvet if you really want to, it could be nice, or Bayonetta, it's going to be nice. And he has 3 spells, which, by the way, all of these have the same icon. So, Abyss Gate Omega is just an improved version of Abyss Gate. So it's the enhanced version of Abyss Gate. He doesn't have Abyss Gate in here, but he has this instead of Abyss Gate. So this is exactly the same as Abyss Gate, it just has more hit counts and it says it's faster to cast as well, so I think it'll be okay, but I still prefer Black Hole, honestly. Devil Gaze is a new one. This is a completely new spell that is on this unit. It's a stacking spell, so if you really want to, you can just make him a full mage and use like Black Hole and Devil Gaze and do some fun stuff with that if you really want to, or just use Black Hole and nothing else, because Black Hole is a very good spell. Because this groups all the enemies together, it's a very good spell. It's one of the better spells. Powerful Dark attack all enemies and has a chance to inflict silence. Damage cap plus 1000. It doesn't say here, but Black Hole is like it's a black hole. What do you expect? It sucks things in. It's a good spell. And I do like this because let's say you're up against I don't know, a boss that has multiple enemies. Something in like, the tower that has a bunch of enemies. You can cast Black Hole, and then it'll group everyone together. And then you can start spamming his skills, like skill 3, and that's going to hit all the enemies because they're all grouped together now. So I do think it's a nice synergy, and I do like Black Hole. It's quite good. So I'm looking forward to using that. It's always a great spell to have. And now he's got a bunch of stat up increases, so MP up 4, attack up max, magic up max, Spike Spirit 4, Orgon up 5, I believe is a new one, increases strength and intelligence by 12%, it's very nice. Arcane up 4 as well, there's a lot of stats, intelligence and MP, all stat up, this one's crazy. HP, MP, strength, defense, intelligence and mind by 15%, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a hell of a lot. And if this were to be a teachable skill, this would be an incredibly expensive skill. Probably like another 20 SC skill, honestly. Because 15% of all those stats is pretty crazy. Critical up 3. So I'm a tiny bit worried that he has too many stats skills and not enough physical damage and dark damage modifier skills. But we'll have to see once we go through it. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Anti-type breakthrough 3, auto ultra advanced circles, very nice, auto recast, auto haste, dark giga boost, dark attack raise 1, and dark attack raise 4 and 5. These are very nice. So it's got dark attack raise 1, 4 and 5. You can even put on dark attack raise 2 as well. I don't think we have, we probably have dark attack raise 3 learnable. I don't remember, but it wouldn't surprise me, probably do. But that would just be funny to have all those on this unit. Shadow Enhance, Dark Damage and Magic Damage, it's very nice. Dark Critical Raise, it's very nice. Pose of Honor. Evil Absorption, when taking physical / magic damage, chance to recover 30% of the damage's HP, is quite nice. Some of these skills I forget because we don't get them on many units. Two-Handed Axe, you get physical damage and crit rate, so they do want you to use an axe, and up until now, it hasn't specified the exact weapon. It just hasn't specified like one weapon that they want you to use on this unit. So all these traits just requires one weapon. It doesn't matter what weapon. But up till here, now you get onto the axe boost. So if you want him to be a full mage, technically you don't need an axe. But if you want him to be a physical damage dealer, then you're much better off using an axe because of these two skills. This one giving physical damage, crit rate, and damage cap. This one, 12,000 damage cap, 30% damage. So definitely make sure to use an axe if you're using him as a physical damage dealer, which most players are probably going to do that, honestly. Even if you just have a terrible axe, it's going to be better than a sword, even your best sword, because of these two boosts. They're more than enough to make up for it. So they're quite nice. Hey, how's it going? Pretty good. Kit looks crazy. Armor HP plus, skill charge 3, very nice. Indomitable Spirit, Cloak of Majesty. Now we get onto the unique skills. Always exciting to see these. I believe he does have, because he does have, you know, Anti-Type Breakthrough 3. So he should definitely have some Slayers, even though they don't appear up here. There is one down here. So, nullify cut strength and intelligence debuffs from active skills, and there's a chance to nullify critical attacks to this unit. Quite nice. Evil chance, dark damage by 30%, damage cap 30,000. It's very cool. And it boosts dark. This is the weird one though. It boosts dark attack magic MP cost by 20, but it increases the casting speed by 30%. It's not my favourite, but the thing is, you have to use this skill because you're also getting 30% dark damage and 30,000 damage cap, so you might as well keep it on. But if you're using him in PvP, the 20% extra MP cost is something you have to be aware of because it's there. So there are some rare cases that you may not want to use it because of that extra MP cost, and you're trying to reduce the MP cost as much as possible. That's just something I'm pointing out. But it's a decent skill still, because you're getting a lot of damage and damage cap, so it's pretty nice. This one, I like this a lot too. Greatly boost is basically like Thaumaturgy Ring and Orgon Ring, those types of skills. Greatly boost your physical damage based on intelligence, and it greatly boosts magic damage based on strength. So it does both, and non-stacking magic special and special damage cap plus 20,000. So this will stack with Thaumaturgy Ring and Thaumaturgy Ring Plus, and as you know, we have both of those as learnable skills on UROx. So I think it's going to be pretty funny to have this skill plus Thaumaturgy Ring and Thaumaturgy Ring Plus. I don't know how effective it's going to be, but I just think it's funny that you can put all of those on this unit. He may not need it because he has enough stats in his kit already, but if I were to get this unit, that's probably going to be the first thing I would try, just because why not? Because it would be funny. Demon Lord's Majesty, here's the one that gives him some slayers. Give physical and magic attacks, and special, and to human type effects. So this will apply to magic attacks. That's the one thing I wasn't sure of. But this will apply to physical and magic, so that's pretty good. Continuous Grand Brave, and Grand Aura, and Grand Fort effects. Very good as well, so you don't have to worry about those. Just make sure they're here, because if you're seeing his kit up here, you may think you're expecting like slayers and stuff up here, but they're on this skill instead. Brave Aura, he doesn't need that stuff because he already has it. And then the final one, Abyss Zone, chance for dark magic attacks and specials or criticals, and it increases his critical damage by 40% and damage cap by 20,000. Not always a fan of critical damage cap skills, but this one's still a pretty decent one because it also gives you critical damage, so nothing really to complain about, because this will stack with like the other skills that increases your critical damage as well. Aim Vitals is going to stack with those, and he also has Dark Critical Rays, so he should have some decent crit rate. I believe he doesn't have auto critical in his kit, but he does have crit up 3. Recast Haste, Aura, Brave, and Fort is what he has. He doesn't have auto critical. And then his Sick Enhanced skills, he does have some interesting ones here too. So 30,000 more physical damage cap, take less damage, Axe Mastery, 10% more damage, and 10,000 damage cap. Shadow Weapon, so when you have a dark weapon, increase your dark damage by 20% and damage cap by 15,000. So definitely try to have a dark axe if possible, but I don't know how many dark axes we have, and I don't think I even have one right now. So I'm going to have a look into that, because if I do get this unit, I'm really going to have to find a dark axe somewhere, because I don't think I have one. Obviously he's got his paid weapon, which is going to be a dark axe, but ignore it. It's too expensive. We'll talk about that in a moment. So this one's very good. Won't faint from enemy attacks, so not fainting, very useful. Basic stats element healing speed plus 300%, that's quite nice. So his stats elements will last basically 3 times less, or whatever you want to say. It's pretty nice. When close to death, very greatly recover HP, and the recovery cap is plus 50,000 on this, once per wave, pretty nice. And then all magic casting speed plus 20%. So his kit is all over the place, I know, but it looks pretty damn interesting and pretty strong, because it does have some nice synergy here, because you got, you know, the skill that increases his physical damage based on intelligence and magic based on strength. You've got the last two for sure, yeah. Yeah, Dark Sickle, I remember that, yeah, so there's definitely some accessible ones. I think he's going to be pretty good. I don't exactly know how good yet, because that's going to be down to testing, but his kit looks pretty stacked, because if you think about it, there's a lot of skills here which is not teachable, and that is what you look for in a unit, is a bunch of damage modifiers and stats that are not teachable, because then that allows you to stack on even more, you know, damage on top. So I do think this kit looks pretty solid. I can't imagine him being weak whatsoever. He's definitely gonna be strong. Like, there's no way that he's not strong. Like, he has to be strong. I don't think he's gonna be super meta game changing. I could be wrong, but his DPS is not gonna be game changing. But in PvP, I don't know. I don't really focus much on PvP anymore, so I don't really care that much about it, but I have heard he can work there so far. We just got to wait and see for more testing and more people to test him out there, but I'm not worried about it yet, because he is a creature, so there aren't that many units that have mitigation to creature types, but we do have units like Malzahar and Labref that has dark damage mitigation, and they can't flinch either, so I don't know if he's going to work there yet. In PvE, I do think he's going to hit pretty hard. I just think his DPS isn't going to be that crazy. He's going to be one of those units that's going to be easier to use, kind of like a Shift Adele, I suppose, because he has magic and physical damage, and his kit looks pretty great in terms of stats, and he does have some SET recovery speed, so he does have a lot that a newer player can take advantage of, so I do think he's going to be pretty good for any newer players that are just starting. He's going to be a great unit to pick up, because he's going to be able to carry you through pretty much everything, I suppose. And yeah, he just seems like a very solid unit overall, and he can do a lot, so that's where I think his main use is. He's not the best at one specific thing, but he's good at both, and can do multiple things, which is why I think is a bit different than like normal units. So comparing him to just one physical damage dealer, for instance, that physical damage dealer is probably going to be better. So comparing him to Ascended Roland's going to do better in the physical damage department for DPS, but Balezar can also do other things and not just physical damage, so I do think there is a difference there. And Balezar can technically be a support for Ascended Roland because of this, so you can pair both of them together and make a dark focus team. Could be pretty interesting. So I do think he does have some potential, and he looks quite interesting, because if you think about it, we don't get units like this that often, and he does remind me of Logzeus, because Logzeus was also a hybrid physical / mage unit, so, and he was also dark, so it's kind of similar in that sense. That's like the first thing I think of, I think. So definitely looks like a very interesting unit. He has a lot going for him, and I'm going to be trying him out later on, and I will talk a bit more about him later as well, and look at his paid weapon, which is a stupid 50 credential paid weapon, which I expected to happen. I'm not surprised. Now let's have a look at the arc. This one, another UR arc. Obviously we expected that. We got 3 UR arcs in a row, but that is common for anniversaries, and that always happens in this game. It's pretty expected at this point, so I'm not surprised. This one, I like this arc. This arc seems pretty good. Let's have a look at the trait first. So it's another arc, UR arc, that doesn't have a arc skill, which kind of sucks, but it should have a stronger trait. Dark damage plus 40% damage cap plus 4000, so by itself that's already very good, because it can allow you to use this on any dark damage dealer. A mage, physical damage dealer, doesn't matter, because there's just dark damage and damage cap, so it's very nice. When you have an axe equipped, increase your strength and intelligence by 25%, and when hitting an absolute weakness with dark, damage cap is increased by 6000. So all this part here, the extra damage cap and the stats, you have to have an axe equipped. So you don't get extra damage cap unless you've got an axe equipped. The great thing about this though, is if you have an axe, it doesn't have to be single wield. So this can technically be plus 10,000 dual wield damage cap on a trait for dark damage dealers only, as long as you're hitting a weakness. So that by itself, that for a trait already seems pretty damn strong, so I think it's great already. But it does get better. When the unit has no human type, then damage taken minus 25%, so obviously human types. That's great as well, take less damage. When revived, get a buff to nullify damage equal to 50% of this unit's max HP. So this trait, definitely one of the, probably the best trait for dark damage dealers, 100%. It's very good. Obviously you've got to have an axe equipped to have this bonus, but even if you don't, you can still use it on any dark damage dealer that you want. So I do think this trait seems pretty damn good. Obviously it's not one of those traits like Ascended Roland's Arc trait, because that one can be used on a lot more units, because you only have to have one weapon equipped, I believe, to take advantage of that trait. So this is more situational. You can't use it on that many units, and obviously this would be the best for Balezar. Of course it's going to be his arc, and it's going to be best for him. They do that a lot. It's pretty common, but you don't need it for him, of course, but it is going to be a very strong trait. And it does get better because we've got some very strong learnable skills, and honestly, this is my favourite part about this arc. It's got some very nice learnable skills. Shadow Rage, this one is not new, but we have seen it on one collab limited arc before in the past, and if you don't have that, then technically this is new, so it is not very accessible right now, and because of that, I do think it's nice to have the skill if you don't already have it. Battle start, get a dark attack damage plus 20% buff for free SC is very nice. It's only a 40-second buff, but in places like Arena, if you're using a dark damage dealer, very useful. Or in PvE, against waves or bosses that don't last longer than 40 seconds, I suppose it's going to be good there too. I think it's pretty nice. Rising Brave, gradually boost strength over time, maximum plus 20%, resets each wave. I don't know how I feel about this. 7 SC, more strength. I mean, I suppose maybe sometimes if you need as much strength as possible, which you kind of do for the very tanky bosses in like crest stages, then this could potentially be useful there. So I guess it's okay, but 7 SC is a bit expensive. If it was like 5, that would have been great. I definitely would have considered using it. 7 is just a bit much, I think, but 20% strength, depends how long it takes to get that maximum 20% strength boost though. Creature Buster, physical, special counter to creature types, don't really see myself using that ever. Giga High Blazer, this one's very nice. All enemy strength minus 35% debuff. 14 SC is expensive, but you're going to be using these on support units like Spirit Maiden, Sarah, or just any unit that doesn't have this already that you would like to have High Blazer effect on. So I do think this one's going to be quite nice for supports. And now we have another PvP focus skill right here. Cloak of Majesty's 2. Damage taken from non-boss enemies minus 15% for 10 SC. This one's pretty crazy, and it's another skill that tanks can use in arena and guild battles, so I'm not a fan of that because I don't like seeing specifically PvP focused skills, because that just makes me not want it, because it just makes me feel like if I don't get it, I'm missing out, and I'm gonna just be at a disadvantage in PvP if I don't get it. It's not that extreme, but you kind of get what I mean, when if you don't have it, you're technically missing out on some damage mitigation. So, Axe Giga Boost, when you have an axe equipped, boost your physical damage by 25% and damage cap by 5,000 and break by 20%. Pretty nice. 15 SC kind of expensive, but I suppose you're mostly going to be using this on dual wield axe units, because the damage cap's pretty nice for dual wield units. You could use it on Balezar, of course, but is it worth it because 15 SC? Maybe not. Probably not. It's a bit much, but These are very good learnable skills. I do like these, and I can see there's a lot of value in here because you've got a very strong trait and you've got some quite good learnable skills. You've got multiple useful skills. Shadow Raid, Rising Brave, Giga High Blazer, Cloak of Majesty 2, Axe Giga Boost. You've got some very good skills in here, so I do think it's quite valuable already. And then the Archive reward, I don't think I looked at this. This one's pretty good as well. Accessory gives you intelligence and strength pretty high. Light and dark physical and magic damage plus 15% and MP plus 5%. And it gives you 10 dark resistance, blind and silence resistance. This one is definitely one of the better accessories for light and dark damage dealers, 100%. Obviously Balezar is going to take the most benefit from this, and of course it's his arc, so it's going to be the case, but this is going to be a very good accessory for other units as well, because light and dark physical / magic damage, you can use this on a select few units, on like Shaltir or a Roland or any light or dark damage dealer, I suppose. So it is a pretty good accessory, and the extra MP is more for mages or supports if you really want to. It's a pretty good one. So I really like this arc, and honestly I would like to have this. It's not worth the 10,000 paid crystals because that's way too expensive, but I can see that this arc is very strong. It has a good trait, it has good learnable skills, and a good Archive reward. What else could you ask for? It does. What it doesn't have is it doesn't have any super OP meta stuff, right? Like it doesn't have any super broken traits for PvP or something, or arc skill. It doesn't have anything like that that's going to completely change everything, right? But it does have just everything here is quite useful. So I do think this banner is a very good banner because it has a strong unit and arc at the same time. So because of that, I will be summoning on this banner very soon, because I do think this banner is quite useful because the unit and the arc are both useful, and when a banner has both the rate up unit and arc that are useful and quite strong, then I do think it's worth summoning on those banners, because if you get one that you didn't want, it's still going to be useful on your account. So I consider those banners a lot more beneficial to pull on compared to like a banner that has one thing that you really want and the other thing that you don't want at all. So I do think it's a pretty good banner compared to the current banners that are on right now. It really depends on what you already have and how many crystals you have, and if you want to save up for what's coming up very soon, because we're having Ship Lilahar soon, in 2 weeks I believe, and then I would expect there's probably a collab coming next month, so we do have a lot of stuff coming up. I still recommend Jian's Part 2 banner, because this arc is quite good, and this is limited collab banner, so I do value this the most out of anything right now, and it's got another 2 weeks. Bayonetta's banner, I don't really care about her banner too much, mostly just Jian's banner, and Balezar's banner, pretty strong, but it does have another 28 days, so you've got some time to maybe do a couple single pulls, or just wait for the next upcoming unit, up to you, but Balezar is definitely going to be a very solid banner. I would say his banner is definitely one of the better banners right now, better than Alice's banner, yes. Is it better than Roland's banner? Well, his banner's gone, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, his banner is currently a very good banner. His banner and Jian's banner, currently my two favourite banners right now. So let's have a look at the trading space, because I do want to have a look at his paid equipment. He has one paid weapon, kind of sucks, but it is very strong. But it's just expensive, so it is a Dark Axe, a lot of stats, strength, intelligence, MP, very good, and this trait is so long, it's covering up the entire trait, almost scrollable. This trait is ridiculous, right, but you gotta remember, the 50 credentials is expensive, and this will be available in the Crimson Ore trading space in the future, even though you have to wait like 6 months or 12 months or however long it is. You gotta wait a long time to get it free to play accessible, but yeah, it'll be 8,000 Crimson Ore, but you gotta wait a very long time, so I still don't think it's worth pulling for it because it's just way too expensive. What does the trait do? Well, this trait basically does everything. When equipped with only one weapon, dark physical and magic damage is increased by 40% and damage cap is increased by 15,000. Already a hell of a lot right there. When physically attacking, enemy defense minus 20% and deal damage all the time. A piercing effect. Very strong. Critical rate plus 10%. Okay, fine, sure. And strength and intelligence increased by 10%. So you can see how crazy this is, right? It's gonna be his best weapon, 100%. There's no competition, it's the best weapon on him. But, do you need it? No, you don't need it. I know it's very strong, and it has a lot of effects that are very good. This is the most effects that we've had on a weapon, yes. Very good, very strong, gives you a hell of a lot of stuff, but do you need it? No. Is it worth the 50 credentials and the amount of paid crystals that you would spend to get it? No. So that's why I don't recommend it, because you're just much better off using a free-to-play accessible axe. What I would recommend is just going for any dark axe weapon that you have, because if you don't have a even if you have a axe that is very good but it's not dark, you're still better off using a dark axe because he does have some skills that increases his damage when he has a dark axe. So make sure to use a dark axe. If you have one, just look at all of your dark axes that you have on your account. If you don't have many, check out the gold mine, look at dark axes and see what you could potentially get. And that's all I recommend really, because he definitely needs a dark axe. This one's going to be crazy, but I would say ignore it unless you're a whale that really wants it and is willing to go that far. I don't think I'm willing to go that far. I would want to, but it's too much. Like, 50 credentials is like, each 10 credentials is 3,000 paid crystals. Think about that. It's a lot. It's like 15,000 paid crystals right there. Technically it's a bit less because step gacha, but I still think it's pretty expensive. I say it's only worth getting if you're already doing the step gacha to guarantee the unit, because then you would have the credentials from that, but it's not worth it. Really not. Because you could spend those paid crystals on other things instead, like if there's any arcs you're missing in the shop, for instance. These arcs down here cost 4,500, even a trade ticket for 4,500, they're cheaper, right? So I don't really recommend to get its paid weapon. Just wait, probably, it's the best idea, and don't need it, just don't worry about it. I do kind of want to have a look. If I look at Dark Axe, yeah, that's what I thought. It's literally the only one I have, even though it sucks. If I get the unit, I will try and have a look at see if I can manage to get any more Dark Axes somewhere, which I might be able to. I should be able to, but at the moment, not going to worry about it until if we get the unit. So what I'm going to do now, might as well do some summons. Yeah, make sure to use gold mine, it's very useful. I use it a lot, it's great. It's best place. I'm going to do lap 1, see if we get anything. If we don't, I'm going to be sad, and then I'm going to pull on this banner, because I really want both things in this banner, but I won't pity. I can't pity, I don't want to. And I want to save for upcoming banners like collabs and stuff. I really want to save collabs, so that's why I'm trying to limit myself to, you know, not do too many. Get him in lap 1, step 1, you lucky thing. That's not gonna happen to me. I would like both. Obviously the arc has more value than the units. In my opinion, there's a red. What's it gonna be? Don't be an extra animation because I don't want to know. Be something new. Of course not. Never gonna be. I wish. The one thing I really want, obviously I want both, but the arc just looks so nice. Looks so good. First multi. Some people get stupidly crazy. I really want the arc the most. That's the number one thing I want from this banner. This one's got nothing, I'm gonna skip it. 2 of the Arc, really? Wow. I rarely get Arc dupes. Well, you are Arc dupes, because you are Arc. You are Arc, 0.4%. Not happening. Damn it, it's a blue. I don't like it when a blue shows up. This one's going to go to a gold. It's not going to go to red because it's only a blue. So I'm going to watch anyways, but... I think I remember getting some UR dupes in the past. One of the anniversaries I got something. I think it was like Soul Blade or something. I got a dupe somehow. I didn't want it. It sucks. Yeah, there's a lot of lucky people today. It's not going to be my day. Here's the first temple of the day. I'm going to be doing this temple. If we don't get anything, I'm probably going to do a couple more temples because I really want to try and get something from this banner. Balezar looks fun, but this arc is the one thing I really want the most. It reminds me of when Log Zeus came out, because Log Zeus was a dark damage dealer. He had his own arc, his UR arc, also very strong. It's probably not going to be red in here either, because it's only a blue, so probably nothing in here. No, definitely not. Chasing for the UR is always a bad idea, but sometimes I do it, and no reds. Just be aware. Try not to chuck all your crystals in this banner. Just be aware of what's coming up and what you should try to save for, because if you just chuck everything on one banner, then you don't have any crystals left for some other banners. So I'm going to try to play it smart. I always try to, but it's very difficult. What's coming up? Well, in 2 weeks we have Shift Lilahar, and then another 2 weeks should be a collab. That's my guess. Lilahar is definitely in 2 weeks, definitely, because they said it was going to be this month, and it's definitely 2 weeks from now, so definitely, 100%. Let's do some temples. I'm not going to do too many, just a couple, see if we can get something new. I'd really like. Is there a roadmap? No, there's no roadmap. The only thing they announced was in the anniversary live stream, so we don't know. We always take guesses, because we don't have any like server ahead of us or anything, so we can't predict. Oh damn it, little bets. I hate seeing your face. Yeah, there was a roadmap for in the anniversary live stream, but no roadmap for like specific banners coming up or anything, you know. Yeah, I'm gonna be saving most of my pulls, but it's gold. Could be something, but not always. Get Roland from singles, well. Roland's arc from singles, yes. But it took like it took like a lot of summons to get that. Extra animation is an arc, well, it's gonna be a dupe or something, I already know that. Because when it's an arc, 99% of the time it's gonna be a dupe. And there's only one, so prepare to be disappointed and get that dupe. Oh my god! I have to be negative. I have to be negative. There you go. There's the one thing, that's great. I feel like if you have to do, in this game, you have to do negative. Reverse psychology. Reverse psychology works. Sometimes. Yeah, if I get hopes, I get disappointed. So if you don't get hopes, you get surprised. Stuff like this happens. I'm very happy with this one. I already explained it, but this arc is a very good one. Yeah, I'm excited about that. Now, you know what would make it even better if I also get the units? We haven't done that many summons yet, so I'll tell you what we're going to do now, is I'm going to do some more single pulls for a little while, because the maximum, I didn't expect to do that many. I didn't expect it to get in 42 summons, so I will do some more, because Balezar, I like Balezar, the main reason why I want to try and get him is because he looks very cool and I like the story. So if I just cared about super meta stuff, maybe I would skip, but I really like Balezar. I mean, yes, their aesthetics does play a part in it too. Like, it looks cool. Could he be right here? No, he's not, because it's a gold. But I mostly look at their kits, and if it's going to be, you know... The kit is definitely the most important thing to me, and how fun they look, and story-wise. I'm going to skip most of these unless they look very promising. I'm hoping to get the unit, like, as soon as possible, and then I can save everything else for the upcoming Little Heart and collabs and stuff. That would be amazing. There's another gold, I might as well watch it, because when you see something like this, it always looks promising, but 0 animations, 1 animation, 2 animation. There could be a red in here, but it is a single pull. It's got 3 animations. There is a red. What do you think? Okay. Well, it's funny, but it's not. I bet that trolled everyone else. They thought it was the unit. I didn't think it was going to be the unit. You didn't have him, yeah, well, on this account is only a couple months old, so I'm missing a lot of stuff, so I don't get trolled by new things appearing that much because I'm missing a decent amount of things. That's only a blue I'm skipping. Yeah, getting trolled by something new and then it's not the thing that you wanted really sucks, is the worst thing ever, but something new is better than nothing. Hey! What dupe do you think it's going to be this time? No, I don't know, but I really hope this unit... That's quite rare. You rarely see it happening, but it's probably going to be a dupe. It's probably a dupe. I mean, it's a unit, so there's a chance, but... Nah. You know what I think would be funny? Is I think that if it would have been hilarious if that was Adele again. That would have been so funny. There is no guaranteed new animation. The only animations in this game are a unit or an arc animation, so it is telling you if it's going to be a arc or a unit. It doesn't tell you if it's new. There's a blue. One more red will be him. Really? You think so? Well, it's going to be this one. No, it's not. Yeah, animations usually don't matter too much, but I can see at least there is some degree of... Because I've done a lot of summons in this game and I've played for many years, so the animations do kind of matter. Like, you can say that it doesn't matter, but I can see some relation to the animations and what you get. Not always, sometimes it's a bit random and stupid, but Thoria is usually good. A blue is bad. No one showing up means there's going to be nothing in there. Now, I've already explained this many times, but that's how it is. Come on, Balezar. You just need to get that 1 unit. Okay, I said the thing happened. Wow. You know... I had no reaction because... I don't know. I don't know. Animations don't matter, trust me. I know. Yeah. Well... My name is Balezar, the only remaining Demon Lord. I am not labouring under the illusion that humans can understand me, but you will continue to demonstrate your value or become my sustenance as rot. Yeah, sure. I, 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 I'll take you for that one. You're right. That's great. Yeah, well, I'm always happy to see people show up to these streams. If you're new, that's great. I like seeing more people show up. The more the better. As long as you're not pain in the ass. We haven't had any pain in the ass people here, but fine. So, it has happened before. Like, the reason why I skipped was because nobody showed up and it was a single pull. Yes, I know. uh, Usually when nobody shows up, it's usually for the paid weapon. No, I'm not gonna get the paid weapon unless you buy it for me, because I'm not getting it because it's too expensive. I tell you why. Because if I were to get it right now, it would be how many? It would be 39 times 300 paid crystals. That would be 11,700 paid crystals. I'm not paying that much just for a weapon, so no, thank you. I would like it, it would be amazing, I'd love it, but I don't need it, and it's too expensive. Because you know what I could spend with 11,700 paid crystals? I could spend that on, like, one guaranteed arc in the shop for 4,500. I could get, like, a guaranteed UR arc for 10,000. Isn't there normally two? Yes, there's normally two. But this is one of those rare cases where there's one very expensive, very strong one. We've had some... we've had some like this before, like Prefect of God Zero. Prefect of God Zero was very controversial because he's incredibly good. Falsbow, yeah, we've had some scenarios where there's been a 50 credential paid. I would love it, but I'm not getting it because it's not worth the 11,700 paid crystals, and that's what most players should be doing, is avoiding it because it's too expensive. Unless you're a super whale, do whatever you want, I don't care. Just keep funding this game, that's what makes the game survive longer. You do you, I suppose. So... yeah, you're a whale and you're not touching it. I don't blame you, it's very expensive. I would only get it if someone were to donate enough for me to get it, but I don't recommend it because no one needs it. I'm gonna close this, go over to Steam, and we'll start showcasing this unit, shall we? Because that's gonna be quite fun, I think. Should I keep this open? No, I don't need to. Okay. Yeah, him and the art cut's great. I was hoping. I didn't expect to happen though. Yeah, Lilha next. I tell you what, I am not super excited about Lilha. Reason being, I don't think she's going to be as good as her base form. So I don't think her shift form is going to be good enough to make me want to try to pull it. So I have been working on Jian, by the way. She's pretty built up now. Yeah, her shift is likely a physical damage dealer. For sure. Which sucks. Because if she is just a physical damage dealer, you don't need it, do ya? The only thing I can say is if she ends up being like a super meta, like the newest best DPS unit, then yes, that would be great, and I could see some use from it. But if she just ends up being just another damage dealer with nothing else that's going to get power crept in a couple months, then I just don't see a point in getting a unit. But we're going to have to wait and see, because we don't know her kit yet. Yeah, I might have access to a better axe, yeah, probably. I'm going to do that after the stream, because I could spend a lot of time just researching axes, but I'm going to do that later. The one thing I do have, you might not have access. Yeah, well, this arc gives 50% dark skill and magic damage when you have one axe equipped. It's pretty funny. You can use this on Balezar if you really want to. If you had that, it's funny. I might have some Arkeith reward that I haven't gotten yet, which is a dark axe, but I don't know, so I'm gonna have a look at that later on. At the moment, I don't know. I think I'm gonna get this because it's really good. Yeah, because if there's literally no good dark axe that I can get, it's really gonna make me want to get the axe, the paid axe, but it's not even worth doing. There's no point. 5 non-exclusive dark axes. Okay, I'm curious. I'm gonna have a look. Go to weapons. Axe. Filter. Dark. Yeah, there's 12 axes in this game. One is for... That's Albedo's weapon. That's from... One is from an event. It kind of sucks anyway. The Dark Sickle is the one I have. And then you have... one that still kind of sucks. But it's from... an SSR arc. Which... I should have, but it's still gonna suck. Still gonna be terrible. This one. But technically this one is something, even though it's not that great. And then this one's pretty good, but yeah, the Lack Shadow Shatter Axe is the one that I heard mentioned already. That one, was that from an event, or can you just Godforge that now? Because that just seems pretty good. Well, I'll have a look. Just in case. It should be here. No. Yeah, so it doesn't show up here. What about in... Actually... Yeah, this is why I didn't want to talk about this, because I'm going to be here for ages. Yeah, because on Goldmine it doesn't say if it's from an event, so... It kind of sucks. Anything else? No, no, no. Your first scythe is from an event, and that's it. So yeah, there's like nothing. There's zero, like hardly any dark axes you can get available. So it feels bad. Yeah, it's probably from an event. It feels bad. Well, the sickle is the only thing I've got right now. I do have this, but it's not dark, so it's probably not going to work. It's probably not even worth using. And if you go to axes, yeah, this is literally the only one I got. I can't go. I don't wail enough in this game anymore to go for his paid weapon. I would, but it's not worth doing. I would like to, but I can't, because I don't make enough money to do that. Sickle's enough, yeah, it's going to be fine, but it's not going to be the best. I just wish I could get something that's actually not terrible, because then it feels like my build is trash. And I'm not a noob, even though it may seem like it. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so let's use a rainbow potion. I need more. Why does it have to be a dark axe? Well, because, well, two reasons. First reason is this one. That's the first reason. 20% damage, 15,000 damage cap is the main reason. So that's why it has to be Dark Axe. Second reason, if you want to take advantage of Goddess Kiss and have more MP, that's the second reason. So you kind of need a Dark Axe. Mostly for this. 15,000 damage cap, too much to miss out on, and it gives you 20% damage, so technically, if I were to give him that Godforge Axe, which I do have, if I were to give him this one, technically it's worse, because yes, it's giving him 20% physical damage, but that's making up for the 20% damage that he's missing out on anyways, and he's also missing out on 15,000 damage cap, so there's literally zero reason to use this whatsoever. So don't use this one because it's just not worth using, because you're much better off just using this Stark Sickle. Even though it sucks, it's going to be better. Yeah, the strength's a lot higher, but does that matter? Not really. I think his base stats are enough, and stats shouldn't matter too much. I think this is fine. Even though I'm burning on fire right now, this can be fine. I did farm some Sharp Fangs yesterday, but I still need more, because apparently I still don't have enough Sharp Fangs. It kind of sucks. I wish I could get more of these. Yeah, we don't really know the exact, maths in this game of how stats work, and like the damage mitigations and blah blah, that stuff's complicated. Only Adis knows that, but what we can know for a fact is if an enemy has like stupidly high defense, then you have to pierce it or reduce it, otherwise you're just not going to hit any damage whatsoever. Because if like you've seen enemies that just take 1 damage, that's because they have like millions of defense. So definitely matters somewhat, and the strength does matter in that sense. Kind of like the strength and the defense battles out, and whatever's higher wins, kind of, as the simple terms. It's not exactly how it works, but you kind of get it. Yeah, Elemental Tower, that thing. Some enemies are just tanky for no reason. I think I should be able to get every skill here, right? Nope. I need more books. I can do that. Already 2,000 strengths, pretty nice. Let's get 1 book, and I'll get his final skills, and then I'm going to try him out. Definitely, if he's using PvP, is going to be a damage dealer. Mage / physical damage dealer. It's probably what people are going to use him as. I don't think he's really going to work as a tank. Yes, he can. Bruiser, whatever. Same thing, it's just a more tanky physical damage dealer. Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely more of a bruiser type unit. He can be a damage dealer. I mean, he can do a lot. Just not a main tank. Probably not. Definitely going to require testing. Always does. Some people probably going to use him as like a black hole spamming unit. I don't know if he's going to work in arena. You might find a couple of whales using him in arena with his paid weapon at plus 30. You're probably going to find some people doing that. I'm not one of those people, but I have seen some people use Demon Alice in arena and somehow working just because they maxed her out completely and are stupid whales. So you can make technically any new unit work as long as you have enough wallet power. That just seems like what it's like in this game at the moment. Well, that's at least what I'm thinking, anyways. Yeah, I know. I tried Alice myself in Arena. I know she can take advantage of backstab on a skill 1 and stuff. I got attacked. I attacked someone with a Mega Whale Alice. That's what I can assume, because she almost killed my Melzer in like one skill 1. It was awful. Yeah, you don't want to be a whale. Trust me, I've been there. It's boring. Function of gods, combat, despise humans. Somewhat open-minded, doesn't listen. Sure. What's his ward? Pretty nice. 800 damage cap when you have an axe. Okay. Let's put on some equipment and try him out. So he can have either clothes or armor. So it's kind of easy. Obviously, my favourite one being this one. It's going to be great. And then accessories, well... he does have some quite good accessories. I did get this recently, it's pretty good. Obviously this will be great if you manage to get the arc as well, but if you don't worry about it, because there are some other good ones. It depends on if you want him to be a physical or mage or both. If you want him to do both, then look for stuff like this that increases, you know, all of your damage or dark damage. Like, we do have a couple of good accessories which increase dark damage. This one's only dark physical damage, but it's still pretty good. Clothing different to clothes, well, it should be the exact same thing. Armor boost, yeah, it's kind of confusing. I've been confused by it many times, but basically this is the armor slot, which has armor and clothes. So even if you equip an armor that is clothes and you put on armor boost, it's not going to work, because you have to have an armor that's an armor, and the wording is still a bit weird. I wish they could have done it better than this, but I always thought that was strange. My favourite accessory for this unit is definitely going to have to be World Break Globus. Even though this is from a Yoriarch, this one gives intelligence and strength and dark attack damage and even stun resistance and silence resistance. So this one's like perfect for this unit if you do have this, which this is funny. This is from Logzaeus' Yoriarch, so it's pretty damn good if you have it. I did get that quite recently, so that's nice. I would use Equilibrium Sphere as well. Obviously I'm going to use his Yoriarch accessory. I'm just pointing out some other accessory options if you don't have the Yoriarch ones, because there are a lot of Yoriarchs that have very good Archive rewards, especially accessories. Yeah, a good translator would be great. I'm going to be putting on this one, and this build seems okay. Just ignore the weapon. Pretend this weapon is something better than this crap, and the build would be pretty good. Is it worth pulling? Well, yes, but don't pull super hard, because we have stuff coming up which you might want to save for. So I do have some good crests, and this one's probably my favourite one for this guy. So 16% dark damage. That one was hilarious. That one's hilarious for bows. What's coming up? Well, I hate to repeat myself many times, but I'll say it one more time, and then one more time at the end of the stream, so 2 times total. Next banner, Shift Lilahar. After that, probably a collab, is my guess. We don't know that it's a collab, but we expect a collab to be coming up next month, so that's why I say be careful with your crystals, because we could have a collab coming up next month, and Shift Lilahar, which we don't know if she's going to be. we're just going to have, but we're going to wait and see. So let's see what his stats look like right now. Already 3,000 strength without awakening. Let's use awakening now. And then I want to try him out. Try him out in story stage, and then after that, I'll try out unit test play quest. Well, I'll be honest, my favourite collabs in this game have already happened. Those being, my number one favourite collab is obviously Nier, because I love that game and series, is one of my favourite game stories ever. I want that to get a rerun with Nier Replicant. That's my number one thing. I want Nier Replicant collab with like Emil and Kaine. I want those two units. That would be my favourite thing to get, but I don't know if that's going to happen because it would need a rerun, and I don't know if that's going to happen. Devil May Cry is pretty fun. I know these are existing collabs. I can't really think of any new collabs that I would like to have, honestly, just because my favourite things like Nier have already happened. So Sonic was great. I'm not a huge fan of Sonic in general, but having the Sonic collab was pretty fun. Any other animes or game series as collabs? Yeah, DMC, we definitely need to get a Devil May Cry rerun. So I'm going to try him out with just base stats, base kit, everything, and seeing what he's like. But he does have Human Slayer down here, so he should be hitting quite hard against the enemies I'm just about to go up against. Full Metal Alchemist was quite fun when that came out. I did like that because of the alchemy skills. Those were fun. Definitely one of my favourites, especially Roy. Roy was great when he came out. It was always fun. I liked that. Yeah, a lot. I had a talk with myself in my head. I talk to myself. I don't literally, but I had a thought the other day, and it was basically telling myself to not pull on that many Descent of Heroes banners unless I really want them, because collabs are way better to save for, and I would much rather pull for collabs instead of Descent of Heroes banners. So I'm trying to save the majority of my crystals for collabs right now, especially since this is a newer account. Yeah, I know. But that was, I said that to myself after I pulled on those units, and I don't regret pulling on those banners because I like them. Shift Alice, not a big fan. I could have skipped that, honestly, but if you get the new unit in a couple of temples, there's nothing to complain about, is there? Yeah, I only buy a little bit. I say that, and I have like 20-something thousand paid crystals. I don't buy that much as I used to. I think I'm going to use... I kind of need a honey elixir or something, don't I? Kinda. I suppose cancel 10. We'll just have to do, even though it's only level 1. Yeah, Ascended Roland. Even, I tell you this, even though I had to do like almost 200 pulls or something on Ascended Roland's banner, I don't regret it, because he's my number 1 best damage dealer right now and has been able to carry me through the Crest boss stages, and just he's been a great addition, so I don't regret it at all. So let's try him out in this stage. I just want to see what his damage looks like, because I always do this stage. Let's actually do a black hole. That's skill 3. Oh, I didn't think he would hit damage cap already, but I have to tell you something. I love wings. Just like wings in general. I like wings. I don't know why. Like demon wings and stuff like that. I really like that stuff. Yeah, he gets 30,000 when casting magic. Let me do a different stage. I'm going to go into a different stage which does not have human type enemies. Which is going to be this one. This one has god type enemies. So he does not hit Slayer effect. So he's not hitting his human type Slayers. So then I can test his base damage without any Slayer type damage on top. And this arc is like not giving any damage whatsoever really. So he looks, yeah, I love dragons. I love dragons. They have 50 dark resistance, so this isn't really the best place to try it out, is it? Well, yeah, no, it's not. Let me try something else. Let me put on Theopolis instead, just to make it balanced. Yeah, this game, once you get past the beginning part of the game, and you start realizing that you can't get many crystals from anywhere, then that is when you'll start hating the gacha and start trying to save for specific things that you want. And that's what I would recommend all the time, because if you just try to pull in every banner, you're not going to have any crystals, you're not going to get the units that you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for some SCT. Current stats, by the way. I'm going to wait for some SCT, wait for that debuff to go away, so it's fair, and then he will unleash his true strength, so that will play a part in this too, which he does have right now, which is funny stats. Even the defense is pretty high too. So now I'm going to use Theopolis. It's going to reduce their resistances to 0 for Dark, and group them together, and then I can start using his skills. I wish I knew how to save better than I currently. You know, honestly, I feel like the damage so far is pretty good, but well, there isn't really any good way to test this. Yeah, definitely not comparable to Roland. Well, a lot of people are going to say this. Is he better than Roland? Blah blah. Well, no, but he doesn't do the exact same thing that Roland does. You know why? He can also be a mage. He can also support Roland. Put them in the same team, why don't you? Different roles. And he looks cooler than Roland. Like, I love wings. But, yeah. I'm gonna try this one more time with, do the same thing. Make this guy honey elixir battery. I mean, you could do, but it's never really recommended because he's close range. He doesn't have long range normal attacks, so it's not the best. I shouldn't have used that yet. I should have waited. Go black hole, go. I really like that skill 3. I love it. He's so good. He's so speedy. Yeah, I'm gonna go in the unit test play quest now. So far, I mean, this doesn't really give a good idea to how he performs like endgame level, but it still gives me an idea of his base kit and performance with just his base skills, and so far it seems pretty solid compared to other units that have just had their base kit alone. So, seems pretty nice. Yeah, well, I don't like Thouser. Thouser was always mid. He isn't that good. I don't think I even have him on this account, do I? Maybe? I do. Yeah, he does have a charisma, so... Well, I do like Divine Beast Thouser design. It looks nice, right? But I'm not into furries. So, that's out there. You just know that I'm not into furries. And when he released, I thought he was cool, but he was never meta. He's never been meta in his entire life, so he's always been mid. This design, whatever, I think his weapon's cool. This design, it definitely looks better, but I'm not into furries. Yeah. I mean, technically, Divine Beast Thouser can be used instead of Balezar for Ascended Roland if you really want a Charisma unit, but it's not really recommended because Divine Beast Thouser isn't that great of a unit in general right now. Let's go on the unit test play quest now, because this is where I can start trying out all of his stuff properly. I have been doing more of this. I'm working on it, getting there eventually. I've been enjoying it, it's pretty fun. So, Demon Lord Balezar in the unit test play quest does have a hell of a lot of stats. Like, these stats, crazy. He's like a Shida 2.0, yeah, pretty much. Make a guide for that mode? Well, I can't really. My account isn't stacked up that much. And all I can say is use ailments. Make sure the boss doesn't move, doesn't act or anything. Do damage, debuff. That's basic rules on that, pretty much. You need a lot of damage, especially later on. Once you get up to like difficulty 200, it's quite hard, honestly. So what they have, obviously his paid weapon, Wad Break Globus, of course, and this armor was from a recent arc, so that's interesting. 3 jeweled amulets. Obviously they've got his URARC as well, which is obviously going to be great. So let's try him out in here. See what he's like. All of his skills and magic spells and everything, just to have an idea of the animations and stuff. So, in battle, his stats look pretty crazy, right? Third shift for Kyle, don't you start. We don't need another Kyle. I really don't want another Kyle. He's boring. And I said it. That's why I voted for Shift Lilahar instead of Kyle, because Kyle's boring. Lilahar is actually an interesting unit. Gave him wings, nah. Give a turd some wings, still gonna be like crap. I shouldn't have said that, that was a bit too harsh, but you get what I mean. Or Kyle merge with Ray, shift form, coming soon. TM. Look at these stats now. Pretty crazy stats. 14,000 and 10,000. Jeez. HP, strength, defense, all of those stats, 40 to all of those resistances, nil, res, it's pretty great. Yeah, if a unit dies, you can use the charisma as often as you like, because I can just spam it like this if I really wanted to. You can use it as many times as you like. It just means if this unit dies, you'll have to cast it again once this unit revives. So let's start using skills, and normal attack is obviously close range. pretty basic. I mean, there's not really anything to say about it, just other than it's a normal attack. Skill 1, long range, can use it anywhere. He gets even bigger wings, shoots out some stuff. Love it. Awesome. And you can spam it as well. It's not super fast. Yeah, well, he's hitting damage cap on his normal attacks because this enemy is weak as hell. 100 dark weakness, all of the types. Obviously, Balezar is going to be perfect because this is just a unit test play quest, so don't look at the numbers too much. Mostly go for damage caps. And the skills and animations are what I look at the most. So 22,000, but that does include his paid weapon too. I honestly think his damage cap isn't that crazy compared to like Ascended Roland's. Yeah, if you fuse those two together, crazy. Deathbringer. I mean, I have to say, I do like these animations so far. Huh. I'm gonna have to try spamming these, see if there's any like combos or anything. I haven't even tried his skill 3 yet, and I do like that one the most. And I already feel like the skill 1 and skill 2 seems pretty good. So, that's a positive, and I haven't even tried his magic spells yet. Well, it definitely seems like using a skill 1 and into a skill 2 seems pretty good. Like, you can see the hits there pretty fast, but if you use a skill 2 into a skill 1, there's a delay. So, definitely better off using, like, spamming skill 1 first, and then use a skill 2, seems pretty damn fast, and then you'd probably go skill 2 into a skill 3 is going to be pretty okay. He's cool. He's cool. I do want to do some more testing with this though. But definitely his skill seems pretty fast. I do like his skills. They're not going to be anything super crazy. And I still think Roland's going to have better DPS. But why don't you just pair them in the same team? Because that would be better. That's assuming that you have both units though. Try his magic, yeah, I'll do that. And I want to try a special out too. So obviously we've got Devil Gaze is a new one, and you've got Black Hole, which we've already seen. Black Hole. Yeah, DPS wise, 100%. Devil Gaze is a stacking spell, and it's completely new. It's kind of like Abyss Gate. That's funny. Okay. I think it's funny because you know, I think it's funny because that's something I've realized is you can use Abyss Gate Omega. It casts incredibly quickly. Abyss Gate Omega, you can use it incredibly fast, and then you can use Devil Gaze quite quick after, and then you start using his skills. That's pretty fun. And it increases damage cap. You can see it's now 270,000 instead. So that's fun. I need to do some more stuff with that. What about with Black Hole? Because I feel like Black Hole's going to take longer to cast, isn't it? But when you put his entire kit together, it's definitely a lot better. Well, of course it's gonna be, but it's a lot more fun too. MP issues, yeah, definitely. Because his skill 3 costs 10% of his MP as well. And these spells are kind of expensive. Let's try Black Hole into a Devil Gaze. I just want to try it. He does have quite fast casting speed, so that's pretty good. Yeah, it takes a bit longer. Honestly, a Biscuit Omega is pretty good. You could just use a Biscuit Omega and then do this. See, that's when it starts becoming pretty damn good, is when you have a spell and you're spamming skills at the same time. That's when he starts becoming pretty solid. And the DPS, if you just look at the skills by themselves, the DPS isn't going to be that great, right? But add on the magic spells as well, I think is pretty good. Like, the main reason is a Biscuit Omega isn't that bad. Because the, yeah, you cast this, and then you don't even have to wait that long until you can use another skill. So, that was like 3 seconds, and I've already casted that spell, and I've used the skill too. So, I think this unit is going to be pretty fun. Like, yeah, you can't really run Divine Rights. Well, I rarely use those anyways. And boosting his damage is going to be a bit more difficult if you want him to be a hybrid. So I understand that. I just think a playstyle like this, we don't really get that often, and it just seems pretty fun. Yeah, this is fine, I can already tell it. This is definitely a unit I can get behind. I'm already a fan of this. I'm going to do this one more time, and this time I'm going to try his special out. It's not going to be that great, but I'm going to try it anyways. He definitely seems very fun. Like, this is a type of playstyle we don't usually get on these types of units, and I like it. He's got a lot that he can do. He can do a lot of different things. You can make him long range with a skill 1. You can make him, you know, just focus on DPS. You got a close the gap skill 2, and his main big PP DPS skill 3. And you've got his Black Hole, which sucks all the enemies in. Biscuit Omega, actually quite a good spell, because it casts so quickly. It's quite nice. Like, put all of his kit together, it actually works pretty well, and I'm quite a fan of it. See, that casts so quickly. Now I'm going to use a special while a magic spell's going on. Yeah, I know. It's cool. Yeah, the spell itself isn't that crazy, I know, but I think a Biscuit Omega is the best for when you are not focusing on as a main mage build, because if you just want to have him do more physical damage, I feel like it's a good idea just to cast one of these every once in a while, because as long as you have the MP for it, you can just cast one of those. It will give him that 50,000 damage cap, right? As long as that spell is active. So that technically means that you want the spell to last longer, because then you're going to have that damage cap for longer, technically. But I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, it's almost a good thing it takes so long. I like it. I don't think it's gonna... Yeah, you can say all you want about, oh, it's not going to be like meta stuff, blah. Well, it's not going to be crazy. But you know what matters more than that is if it's fun. And I think this is fun. How will he do in long fights? Yeah, well, that's when you need Goddess Kiss. That's when you need Goddess Kiss 100%. In, like, long boss fights, he's gonna struggle a bit, I think. But in, like, waves and stuff, Yes, a Black Hole has always been a meta spell, and it's going to be pretty good too, even though it takes a bit longer to cast. That will be useful as well, because then you can go with Black Hole, group everyone together, use a skill tree, bam. Let me try this one more time. I'm going to put all of this kit together, try to kill this guy as fast as I can. Yeah, the mobs counter towards damage, that's true. So, yeah, he could work pretty well against world raid bosses because of Black Hole, and you spam his skills once they're all grouped. I think could be fun. Yeah, that's definitely going to be quite good. I can picture that. That's going to be great. 100%. So let's just see what I would do. I think I'm just going to use a Biscuit Omega and then just start spamming skills. Yeah, it really depends on what bosses they release. I'm just seeing. So yeah, you can do that. It takes a long time. Yeah, well, the only thing I have to say about that is one of his accessories can be gotten free to play. That's the only positive thing, but it's only for his physical damage, so let me do this one more time for fun, and I suppose we'll leave that there for the showcase today, because I feel like it seems pretty fun. I like this unit so far. It seems like it's definitely going to be quite fun. Yeah, the vase, our key for reward, because that's a free-to-play one, that gives 15% dark physical damage. Even though it's only physical, it's still pretty good for him. Any dark, light, or non-actual damage dealer can take advantage of it. I personally like it, and if I didn't have other accessories, I'd probably use that one. I like this. This isn't the fastest, it's just funny to see three things going on at the same time. You got two magic spells, as well as his physical damage going off at the same time. It's pretty fun. Zero's paid, yeah, it's an accessory, because his main kit is around having no weapons and no armor. He has less tied to no armor, but his paid does require no armor. He does have a Cloves high boost or something, I believe, but it's not necessary. Doesn't one of the summons make you cast 30% faster? Well, I don't use summons. You know, this feature, who cares? No one uses it, I don't use it. Who has ever used this recently? No one. Like, I don't use it. Yes, this one can give casting speed buff, but Balezar doesn't need any more casting speed in his kit, because his kit already has enough casting speed. Like, in the unit test play quest, he was already instantly casting, so he does have enough casting speed just from his kit alone. So I use it sometimes. Yeah, well, the only one I would use is Yggdrasil because of the revive effect, and that's it. I don't use anything else, and I don't even use that often because I just use my support instead. Now we've got Spirit Maiden and Sarah, so I just never use it anymore. And I'd rather not even equip it, because sometimes I press the button by accident, so I don't even want to equip one because it's annoying. So yeah, we don't even need it. So in his base kit, he has recast and casting and speed boost. I believe that is all he has, but that is already enough to make him... Oh yeah, he's also got Evil Chant. That is why he can cast quick enough, because he's got 30%, and then another 20%, and then another 20%, I think. So yeah, he doesn't need any more casting speed. But there is one accessory that you could use if you want him to be a mage, which, you know what I'm going to say, and it is the Coldest Pendant. Because this one's going to be pretty good if you want him to be a mage. It gives you more casting speed, don't really need it, but 15% more dark magic damage, pretty nice. 80% to instant cast, and he already has it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, so he definitely doesn't need any more casting speed. He only needs damage and whatever else you want him to build. Moon Pearl would be nice. Yeah, recast 30. Great. Perfect. Then his kit's pretty good. I might as well use that right now. So I think that's everything for today. I don't think there's really anything else I want to do today. So Event Trading Space just has normal stuff. I might as well get this now. Yeah, the pulls were honestly amazing. I loved that. Obviously, when it goes well, it's always a great thing, but hopefully everyone else's pulls goes as well, because this is a pretty solid banner, I'll be honest. The floating ship, well, that's probably the raid boss event stuff, which is currently not active, so there's no raid bosses on right now, so you can't do anything with that at the moment. Yeah, Cloak of Majesty 2 would be nice, wouldn't it? It would. Okay, I think I'll leave it there for today. I've done all the showcase and everything that I can for this unit. In this update, there wasn't that much, mostly just the event and the unit, so... Works in PvP, yeah. Anything that applies to non-boss enemies will apply in PvP. So that is the main reason why I said that Dog Eat Dog 2 was going to be an amazing PvP skill, because this is also applying in arena and guild battles, because that counts as non-boss enemies. So that's why this skill right here is amazing and is so good. So same situation here. That's why Cloak of Majesty 2 is going to be amazing in arena and guild battles, and definitely a PvP focused skill, because when would you want to take less damage from non-boss enemies? Most of the time you want to take less damage from bosses, so this is pretty much just a PvP skill. It's the only time when you're going to use it, really. So I'll leave it there for today. My conclusion on this update: I like this update personally because this unit is a unit that I was looking forward towards. He looked pretty damn cool in the story, and I was hoping and expecting for him to be an insanely strong unit because of how he appeared in the story, and I like the story in this game, so I was excited about this unit. There isn't too much in this update today. There aren't that many events going on, just the new events, and the new banner is the main thing that's going on right now. There will be more things coming up in the future, like we've got Shift of the Heart in 2 weeks from now, and then next month we've got a collab next month, I believe. Yeah, this is the final banner for the anniversary, pretty much. I didn't name this stream as Part 3 Anniversary, because it isn't really Part 3. It's just the third banner, so I just kept it as like a normal yeah, conclusion, I like wings. There you go, that's all you need to know. On a serious note, I I like this banner. Balezar seems like he's going to be very useful, and I know a lot of players are going to be thinking, is he worth pulling for if I've already got Ascended Roland? Well, both of these units do play different roles, because Balezar can support Ascended Roland because of his charisma, and Balezar can be a mage. So Balezar is a bit different, even though he is a single wheel dark damage dealer like Roland. Roland is going to be the better DPS unit overall, but Balezar can just do more in general, so I do feel like Balezar is going to be quite a strong unit and definitely going to rate quite highly in the tier list. That's my opinion so far, based on my current testing and like thoughts on what I think this unit is going to bring. But yeah, DB 1000 gives a lot of caps for sure. So I definitely think he's going to be quite good. Balezar is going to be quite nice. He's not going to be super meta game changing on like, he's not going to be a unit you're going to see a hell of a lot in time trials or arena or guild battles or something, but he's still going to be very good, and he could potentially be used in raid bosses, so there is a chance there. I think it's 12k, that would be funny because it's the exact same as Balezar, that would make sense actually. And this arc, already mentioned it, but this arc's very good, and the main reason why I think this banner is very good is because you've got a very strong unit and a very strong arc on the same banner, so that does increase your chances of getting something good on this banner. So because of that, I do think this banner is a very strong banner. This arc, very strong, amazing trait, amazing learnable skills. I love these learnable skills. Shadow Rage, you've got some very good stuff here. Archy Reward, very useful. So I do think this is one of the better, more useful arcs, for sure. And this will be a useful unit. Now, if you've already got Ascended Roland, like I said, do you really need another dark damage dealer? Probably not. And there are going to be some scenarios where you can't fit in Balezar in your team, as well as Ascended Roland, and you'd probably prefer to use Ascended Roland instead, and I can see that. Yeah, there have been a lot of UR arcs recently that have not had any UR arc skills, and they kind of suck. I wish we could get a couple more UR arc skills, because I think all of the recent ones haven't had any. So yeah, it kind of sucks, but the trait's very strong. That's their what they say is, oh, we made the trait even better, so that's why it's got no arc skill. I hope there are more arc skills coming up, because I like arc skills. They are more for PvE content and they can be useful. I do need more UR dust though, but yeah, they're a very good banner. Currently one of the better banners on. 16k for a full dark team, yeah. Well, when are you ever going to have a entire full dark team? Probably rarely ever. So having a unit like Balezar that can just give you dark damage caps, no matter what, quite nice. So yeah, I do think Balezar's charisma a lot better because it's easily obtainable. You can take advantage of it a lot easier, and Divine Beast Thousands is just not very good of a unit nowadays, so Balezar is just a lot better. Yeah, not really any dark supports. Most of them are light, that's usually what we get. So I still stand by it where Jian's banner, very good banner, it's got another 2 weeks left, so if you were waiting on this unit to decide on if you want to pull one of any current banners, I would recommend still try and pull on Jian's banner to either get her or the Arc. If you get one of the two, then you can probably save after that, and maybe try and pull on Balezar's banner a little bit, but try and save up for the upcoming collab next month. And we do get Shift Lilahar in 2 weeks from now, so it's up to you what you want to do. I'm just saying be aware of what's coming, because that's always important in this game. Yeah, the Spirit Maiden Sarah's Fire, which made no sense whatsoever. It was a Spirit Maiden. Like, Theria's light, most supports are light, apart from Spirit Maiden Sarah, apparently. It's a weird one. Yeah, make sure to do story. Like, when I started my account, this account, I went through the story as fast as I could because I already knew the story, so I just skipped all the cutscenes because I already seen them all already. So I just did it very quickly for the crystals. That was fun. So yeah, I think Balezar is definitely one of the better banners. You can honestly skip Demon Plate Alice unless you really like her, because you don't really need to pull in this banner. The arc's kind of whatever, it's not that great, and the unit she's pretty good, but you don't really need this type of unit. So is it worth keeping the account? Well, yes, I would say yes. Unless you have like literally 0 crystals and you've spent like all of your accessible crystals already, then that's a different story, but you shouldn't have done that to begin with. If you get, what I usually say, and I still stick by it, is if you get one thing from the banner, then you're usually fine to skip the rest. That's usually what I say, because trying to chase for one specific thing usually means pity, and I don't like when that happens. So yeah, Alice is pretty fun. I think she's a good unit, but I haven't used her that much yet, and I just like using Ascended Roland to have a lot more. I know she's going to be good though. If you already have Roland, Delahair and stuff, then yeah, just keep that account, because just try to save from now on for next month's collab. That's what I would recommend. Just save for next month's collab. That's probably what you should do. So I do have some stuff to do. Yeah, we still don't have stock skill 3. We really need to get that, but Adis doesn't want us to have it because they really don't want us to, because they know we could take... We're going to abuse it. If they were to give us skill stock 3, we would abuse it and put it on Telestio. Give him 3 skill 3 stocks. Now imagine that. That's going to be hell. Don't want it. It's going to be hell. Don't want it. Purple Orb is already crazy enough as it is. Yeah, for Alice, a different scenario really. Logzaeus is the end of the first arc of story, so first arc of the story goes up to Logzaeus, and then after that there's more. So this is like the first map, and then you've got a bunch of other maps that will unlock later on. So you do have a lot more to go, so don't worry about that. You do have a lot more crystals available in that story, so you probably shouldn't worry about it too much. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there for today. Basically, I've already said everything that I needed to. I think this banner, pretty good. Balezar definitely meets my expectations as a pretty damn strong unit, and it looks very cool, so I have no complaints about this unit. Not every single unit has to be a super broken meta-changing unit, because that would be not very fun having to chase every single unit that comes out, would it? No, it wouldn't be that fun at all. So yeah, well, it depends how many summons you've done already. Pity always sucks. If anyone wants any help or information on anything, and you can always just join the Discord, which I have here, which I was saying just in case anyone's not aware. And I will leave that there for today, and I'll be back like Terminator in 2 weeks. Yeah, you can get a lot of free crystals in the story. And remember, like I said in my reroll video, make sure to level up your old arcs to level 10, because these old arcs can give you crystals. I need to press all those buttons. But all these old arcs can give you crystals, so make sure to do that if you haven't done so already, and get every single unit to level 100, because each 100 unit will give you crystals if you're not aware. So I'm gonna leave it there for today. If anyone wants to talk about anything, just join that Discord, and that's where I appear the most. And I'll see everyone in 2 weeks. I will add the timestamps in the next 10 to 15 minutes, I suppose, and then you'll be able to check through this video. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I've got a lot of stuff I need to do with building units. I still need to build Balezar now, of course, but I'm still focusing on some other units that I need to build, like I still need to build Leodor. I'm just missing out on Radiances, so I definitely need to farm some materials and farm this event, and definitely got a lot of stuff to do. So yeah, looking forward to that, and playing some other games, just chilling. Don't really have any other plans, so I'll leave it there for today. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.